Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to Bayou Bets. Monday, October 17th. Almost a glorious football weekend in Louisiana.
So close.
Saints were 5 minutes away from a sweep between them and LSU and Tulane, making it into the top 25. And even the Raging Cajuns, if you want to extend it out a little bit, had a good win on Wednesday.
Okay,
But not to be. It was a 30-26 loss for the Saints, and so we will dissect that. We've got a very full show for you today. Saints, LSU, a big game coming up against Ole Miss on Saturday, as well as the Pelicans starting this week. Major League Baseball playoffs going, so just a ton of stuff to go. I do want to make a couple of announcements before we get going. And hello, Mary Beth. Y'all drop your comments in as we go along. Caesar Sportsbook is our sponsor here on Bayou Bets, and they've got a couple of special promo codes just for our listeners and our readers, and they both have to do with winning free tickets. So listen up. The first one is the tip-off ticket giveaway. You can go to the Pelicans home opener at the Smoothie King Center next Sunday. All you have to do is sign up for the Caesar Sportsbook app and place at least one $5 bet by Friday. If you do that, you're automatically entered for the 2 tickets. They're good tickets, too. Use promo code PelicansTix, that's T-I-X, or just go to NOLA.com/Pels, T-I-X.
Or Pelican Sticks.
Pel Sticks. Yeah, there you go. You have to place at least one $5 bet. You have to be a new customer. If you've already signed up, but you have a brother or a wife or a husband or whoever who hasn't signed up, that counts. You can go do that, a $5 bet by Friday, and you are entered for those tickets. And then the other one, you have a little bit longer. You have till next Monday to do this, but same deal. Sign up, $5 bet with promo code LSUTix, T-I-X, and these are tickets for the LSU-Alabama football game on November the 5th. So these are actually probably worth a little bit more than the Pelicans tickets if you want to get right into it. But that one, by the way, is LSU.com/LSU tickets. So spell out tickets.
Who wants to go to that game?
I know.
Oof.
Kidding me? Be fantastic.
Oh.
Yeah. Mary Beth, get that done. $5. Go to LSU.com/PelsTix or just use promo code PelicansTix, a $5 bet or more by Friday for a new user. You're entered for those tickets. Be fantastic. So we'll talk Pelicans. We'll do all of that stuff as we go forward. But first, let's pick off the Band-Aid, guys. Jim and Spencer are here with me. Can't settle for that many field goals against a good offense, I guess.
Well, I'll go first because you told me I already had my diatribe on Datitude, so then I'll keep it short. Saints are heartless dogs. There you go. Woo. There's your analysis.
Woo. Man. Brutal from Derry down.
I mean, you don't want to go on a diatribe, so that's the concise version of an hour's worth of Datitude today.
Yeah, listen, download Datitude for the long version of that. But
pretty good.
I assume you're talking about the last 5 minutes there, Jim, when they couldn't hold the ball, gave up a touchdown, and then couldn't do anything with it again.
No, I'm talking about a lot of things, and I mean, as rapidly as I can spit it out. I think we kind of got a sign on what was going to happen when they had the ball towards the end of the first half, and they went all super conservative and decided, you know what, we're not going to let the Bengals get the ball back. We're just going to kick a field goal instead of going for the touchdown like Drew Brees would have done. If you get the touchdown, who cares how much time you give them? So instead, they played conservative and they settled for a field goal then, and that was a foreshadowing of what was to come in the second half. You can't just be conservative, and you can't play not to lose. And that's how the Saints played. And when you play not to lose 85% of the time, you're going to lose.
Yeah, it's and I mean, there was a couple of situations in the second half I thought they got a little conservative on offense and ended up kicking field goals too. And I mean, it's not how you're going to win against good offenses. You can get away with that against bad teams, Spencer. Obviously not against the Bengals.
Yeah, they just didn't have quite enough there at the end. They just really good. Andy Dalton kind of showed why he's a backup there down the stretch. But prior to that, though, it was going okay. I gotta say, overall, the offense was pretty solid. It was not a total dumpster fire like a lot of us were thinking, because without the top 3 receivers, I was thinking, man, this might get ugly. But for the first 3 quarters, Saints were the better team in that game. It was just in the fourth quarter the Bengals showed that they were leaps and bounds better. They finally lived up to what they were capable of, because for a while there, Joe Burrow was under siege. He got sacked, I think, 3 times total. So it's not like the Saints defense was terrible. It was just the offense.
But one of those was on the first play of the game, and the other 2 were in back-to-back plays. So that's kind of misleading a little bit. One thing I will say about what you said, Spencer, is I don't necessarily disagree, but I think conservative makes it sound like, and I was guilty of it too because I said it on Datitude this morning, but conservative makes it sound like the play calling was conservative. I think it was a mindset and a mentality, because what they really needed to do was run the ball more. That Alvin Kamara had 5.2 yards per carry yesterday, and not really on
more
long runs. Yeah, and more Taysom. Where was Taysom? He only touched the ball 9 times yesterday. He ran it 5 times and threw it 4 times. I mean, it's almost like they said, "Oh, we know Cincinnati knows we're gonna use Taysom, so we're not gonna use Taysom. We'll fool them." I mean, how stupid is that? I mean,
Galaxy brain.
And then you only give Alvin Kamara the ball 19 times when they rush for the 10th. That was the 10th best rushing performance they've had this century. And of the 238 yards rushing, they'd done that 9 other times this century. Not only won all 9, but except for on one occasion, won all 9 by more than 2 touchdowns.
Yeah, it's. I mean, look, it was ugly. Daryl asked, "Where's Murray?" Latavius Murray's with the Broncos now.
Denver.
He was signed off the practice squad tonight. Yeah. So yeah, I mean, look, part of this too, and I know nobody likes excuses, but we said at the beginning of the season the Saints have to be better because they can't possibly have that many injuries. I mean, look. They play. It's a bad week to play Thursday night football. They play Thursday night football this week. Jarvis Landry, Michael Thomas, not expected to be back. Chris Olave is going to be back, it looks like. Jameis Winston, maybe not. Andres Pete, maybe out. I mean, it's gotten ugly. Yeah. And Andy Dalton added to the injury report today, limited practice with a back injury. So, I mean, it's a bad night to play Thursday night football. It is possibly the right opponent, because the Arizona Cardinals are a mess too right now.
They're just as wounded.
Yeah, they're a bigger mess. Go ahead,
yeah, they just lost Hollywood Brown. He's out 6 weeks with I believe a foot fracture, so that's a big loss for them. Yeah, they just traded for Robbie Anderson from he's not anywhere close to Hollywood Brown.
And well, I can't imagine he'll be ready in 2 days to play.
And that's another thing. Yeah, he won't be able to know. That's a pretty complex offense to where he probably won't be able to learn the playbook. The silver lining for them is that they're getting DeAndre Hopkins back, but he's been out the whole year, to where Kyler Murray's just going to have to be winging it. And the way he's played so far, this might be a good get-right spot for the Saints.
Oh, I mean, maybe Arizona's thinking the same thing. That line,
I guarantee you they are.
That line is weird because Arizona shouldn't be favored over anyone. And as bad as the Saints have played, what worries me is over the recent past, the Saints have not played well against running quarterbacks. And, I know that Kyler Murray isn't playing as well as Jalen Hurts right now, but it's got to be scary. And there you go, Barry, 100%. Dalton was awful on 3rd downs in the red zone. Can we just get past this Andy Dalton is better than Jameis Winston thing now? I mean, there's a reason why Andy Dalton is a backup quarterback. And I get that, look, Jameis is hurt, and if he's not able to play, he's not able to play. But when he's able to play, he's got to get back in there. And I said on Datitude this morning, if the Saints want to go 7-4 the rest of the way, and that's what it's going to take to make the playoffs most likely, they got to do it with Jameis Winston. They're not going to go 7-4 with Andy Dalton at quarterback.
Yeah, I mean, I think Dalton, you could argue his floor is a bit higher than Jameis' floor, but his ceiling is much lower, and right now you need a ceiling. You need the ceiling.
2 and 4, yeah.
And Uncle Big Nick brings. I mean, Michael Thomas. Look, he's played 2.5 games
ridiculous.
now in 2.5 years.
What a joke!
At some point, it is what it is. He's not playing anymore. I mean, so anyway, the Cardinals were favored by 2.5 as of yesterday, and then the lines moved down, to 1.5, and so.
Yeah, but it got as far as 1, so I think it's kind of going back up a little bit.
So it is interesting, and we'll see. We'll preview that much more on Thursday's edition of Bayou Bets for Thursday Night Football. Tonight, the Monday night game, Spencer, you alluded to this. Broncos at Chargers, bit of a weird line here too. In fact, it's down to 4 now. Chargers minus 4, and that
Started
line's
at
been on the
5.5.
move all week too.
Yeah, I didn't touch it today for daily best bets. I went with the under and Justin Herbert's under on passing yards. I think this could end up an ugly game. Chargers offense not clicking, but Russell Wilson, we know how ugly he's been. So I'm not feeling this at all from the offense perspective. But go ahead, Jim. What makes you think
I'm completely the opposite side. I think Denver's going to play its best game of the year. I think the Chargers have had a little break. I think the Chargers are going to play well as well. And I like the Broncos tonight because, first of all, Aunt Mabel's all over the Broncos. I mean, all over the Chargers. That's not why I like the Broncos. I actually like them in this matchup because I just don't think, as bad as they played, they've had 10 days now, 11 days to hear how awful they are. And I really do. I think Russell Wilson's going to come out and I think they're going to play well. I think they're going to have something for the Chargers. I'm not certain that Denver can win the game, but I think that they cover, and I think it's going to be a higher scoring game than people think. I think it's going to be in the high 40s, low 50s, somewhere around there. And again, I think the Chargers are going to play well too. I think both teams are going to play well. I think it's going to be a fun game.
I read an interesting stat that as bad as Russell Wilson has been, he's still been like a top 7 quarterback in the league against man coverage. And the Chargers love to play man coverage. So I actually think I have Russ in a fantasy game tonight where I'm trailing by 7 points and facing Tyler Higbee with Russ. This is a super flex league. And so I actually feel pretty good about my chances. I think Russell Wilson might actually put up some points tonight for the first time. So we'll see. Spencer, I guess that puts you on an island.
Yeah, pretty much. But the reason I'm going with that side is because, like I said, in best bets, I mean, both these teams are severely injured on both sides, especially on offense. Javonte Williams done in Denver, Chargers without Keenan Allen. I mean, those are big names. And also, Russ is still banged up. I don't think that shoulder is 100%. And Herbert with the ribs, he's pretty much 100% now, I feel. But with that elite Denver secondary with Patrick Surtain and those guys, without Keenan Allen, I don't see the Chargers being able to get in a rhythm tonight. It'll be interesting, though, because I kind of almost went with Denver +4 or whatever the line has moved to now. But I didn't want to touch the line. I just can't bet on Russell Wilson right now. He just looks so awful.
Just keep getting your knockout picks right, Spencer. You keep getting those knockout picks, and we're going to win some big money. So then I'll be super happy.
Vikings, baby.
Yeah, Spencer took the Vikings. They get outgained by almost 2-1, but
doesn't matter how.
They win, baby. And they covered. That was my. We'll get the big bucks later. That was my top play.
Just got to do it.
We'll talk about these results a little bit. That was one of the favorites who actually won big time upset Sunday. Survivor pools took a beating, which is great if you survive. But yeah, the 49ers lose, Packers lose. Those games weren't even close. The Ravens lost. The Bucks lose to Pittsburgh as 10-point favorites. So out of all of those, Jim, which surprised you the most as far as just how the hell does this happen?
The 49ers doesn't surprise me as much because they are super banged up. So obviously the injuries have gotten to them. I'm not making any excuses for them. The Falcons are playing with as much heart as any team in the league. I don't think they're any good, but I got to hand it to Arthur Smith that they're playing with a ton of heart, and good for them because the Saints aren't. The two that I guess really surprised me, maybe not so much the game, but how did the Packers lose by 17 to the Jets? Aaron Rodgers doesn't look like he wants to be there. They have a ton of talent, and they're just not playing well. The Jets, obviously, we underrated them. And then Tom Brady, he needs to quit. I mean, he's done. Seriously, I mean, I'm saying it every week now. They're not. You see
him screaming at his offensive line. I mean, just screaming at him.
Somebody else is making fun of him because there was a player injured during the game, and everyone was kneeling down and out of respect for the player, like teams are supposed to do. And he's over there warming up, throwing passes, not caring. He's got to go. He's done. He's done. He's done.
This is the other reason, if you're looking for just a little bit of light at the end of what's a pretty dark Saints tunnel right now. They're only a game out of first place, and this division is awful. It's awful.
It's still going to take nine wins.
Yes, I mean, the Saints have to play better, but if they do, I mean, nine wins puts you right there, not just for a wild card.
Yeah, their remaining schedule doesn't look as tough as it did, like we said, before the season. When you looked at the schedule and we talked about how they had to do well early in the season because it got dauntingly tough, it's not as dauntingly tough anymore because then the Rams obviously aren't as good as we thought. The Niners aren't as good as we thought. The Bucs certainly aren't as good as we thought. Carolina is even though the Saints lost to them, they might not win again.
They're the doormat of the league.
They really might not win again. They're awful. So, and there are other games on this schedule where the Saints could take advantage of and make something happen. So, hey, we'll see.
Yeah, it's got to start this week for me. I mean, 2-5. Yep. And I know we've said this about 3 times already this year, but at some point you got to start stringing together wins. Listen, if they can beat Arizona, then they get the Raiders at home. They'll be short favorites, I would think, coming off an extra rest and playing at home. Then you win that. You're 4-4. And you get a home game against the Ravens,
and you lose to the Ravens, and then you move on and try to figure it out.
Okay, I mean, but my point is, you can kind of reset at 4-4. You very well might be tied for first place at 4-4.
Could be.
So that's the goal right now, is to get those 2 wins, and then kind of reassess the situation. But that's the story in the NFL this week. Oh, Spencer, your take on which one of these big time upsets surprised you the most?
Yeah, I was with Jim on the Jets over the Packers. I couldn't believe that. That was my other knockout picks. I'm already knocked out in that one. And the other one that surprised me was the Giants over the Ravens. I wasn't buying the Giants. I was thinking the Ravens were going to win that by a touchdown or more. But I mean, they're just getting to be too good to ignore. Their defense is really good. And old Daniel Jones, I normally rag on him, but he seems to be fitting in pretty well in Dable's system.
Every week, I've been trying to tell you how to jump on the Giants bandwagon. Nobody wants to get on with me.
Man, I got my preseason bet slips. I was right there with you. I hope it keeps up. But the problem with that is the Eagles are off to such a hot. I was talking with somebody.
And the Cowboys are going to get Dak back.
Look at the Eagles' schedule. They could win 15 games.
The whole division. The whole entire division. The Giants played their toughest games.
Yeah, maybe the Giants could pick one off the Eagles, and maybe they lose to the Cowboys. The rest of their schedule is like, I mean, it is awful.
When we were doing the NFL previews, Zach, and I was putting all the schedules together, the entire NFC East was like 29th ranked schedule, tied for 30th ranked and 32nd. So the entire division, I mean, it just the luck of the draw. They just happened to play one of the easiest schedules in the league, all of them. So I mean, there's a reason. That's why they're part of their 6-0, 5-1 stuff is a little bit skewed. But that being said, I mean, there's something to be said about an easy schedule.
Yeah, no doubt. All right, you're watching Bayou Bets. I want to switch gears here and talk a little college football, a brighter topic for those of us in South Louisiana. What a win for LSU out in Gainesville. Jumped out to a pretty big lead on the Gators, who tried to come back. LSU holds them off. They're 5-2, guys. I mean, this has been – look, if you told me the night that extra point missed in the Superdome that they'd be 5-2.
By the way, they still haven't missed another extra point.
I would have laughed at you.
You laughed at me when I told you they wouldn't miss another extra point. They're halfway through the season now.
Okay.
But no, I love this because I told you that Florida wasn't very good. So but at the same time, Jaden Daniels played his best game of the season by far. I thought the offensive line held up pretty well. It looked like they had some cohesiveness on offense, not just that he was playing well. It was Keyshawn Booty sighting, and John Emery showed up too. I mean, and they had the other running back that played well. So the Saints, the LSU played the way that you want them to play. Now, the defense is going to have to play better this week against an Ole Miss team that can light it up.
For sure.
Spencer, this is going to be a really fun game. This is it was a pick this morning. Ole Miss was favored yesterday. Now the line's LSU -1.5.
That's insane.
So there's sharp bettors out there who are all over the Tigers in the early days of this line.
Yeah, there must be, because that line makes no sense to me. I mean, I like LSU the way they've been playing lately, but to me, Ole Miss is the play here. They've just got all the momentum right now as far as they're undefeated, and I know going to Baton Rouge will be tough, but they've just got so much talent on that team. That's a team that's built to win this year. LSU, they've exceeded expectations, but they've still got some growing pains there. They're still not all the way to their potential under Brian Kelly. So I'm thinking they get humbled this week. Not that they get blown out, but I don't see them being able to win this week against Ole Miss.
To me, it depends a little bit on what you make of Ole Miss. Are they in the same class as Tennessee and possibly Alabama? Because if that's the case, then LSU's in trouble. If they're a class below, then LSU has every chance to win this game at home, Jim.
LSU has a chance to win the game, but I don't understand what people are saying. I agree with Spencer wholeheartedly. This line should be like Ole Miss -5, Ole Miss -6, somewhere along those lines. LSU has no business being favored in this game. I think that Brian Kelly has done an unbelievable job in getting this team to 5-2 to this point. And I'm talking about even before the loss to Florida State. If you would have told me before the loss to Florida State they'd be 5-2 right now, I would have said, take it, grab it. And LSU is going to end up being the only reason why I got a shot to win that LSU and Saints over 14.5 wins.
It might still get you to 8 wins.
It might. They might. So, look, I think LSU should be proud of what they've done so far. If they keep playing like this, no matter what their record is, then they have accomplished their goal. Because this is a work in progress season. This is a change some things, change mentalities, change personnel. They're going through a transition for sure, and they are doing an outstanding job with it. And it just goes to show that an LSU team in transition can still be a fun one to watch and a decent one. They're going to get blown out by Alabama, and that's okay. But you can't tell me that there isn't any other team on this schedule that they can't beat. I'm not saying they will, but they can beat anyone else on their schedule besides Alabama.
It's interesting. I would have said LSU would be underdogs in every game except for UAB here on out. And now the line jumped the fence and they're favored. It's favorites against Ole Miss, so who knows? I will say this. If they can beat Ole Miss and go into the bye week, you're going to get some good old-fashioned LSU-Alabama hype. And I know neither one of them's undefeated or anything, but that game will get hyped up. And by the way, if you'd like to enter for tickets to go, NOLA.com/LSU tickets. New Caesars users, sign up for an account, place at least a $5 bet by next Monday, and you are entered to win 2 tickets, good tickets, to LSU Alabama. Or you can use promo code LSU tickets. And it's going to be a heck of a lot of fun to go, whether you think they're going to get blown out or not. That game just has an atmosphere all of its own.
Now that you've shown the promo twice, can you take the glasses and the cup and give it to Spencer like he's earned it? I mean, he keeps getting dissed. He's supposed to have the.
Yeah, I know. Spencer, next time I'm in New Orleans, this is yours. All right.
All right. Yeah, they all won big bucks again.
I'm just keeping it warm for you.
Spencer, do yourself a favor and make sure you wash that thing out really.
You don't need my germs on that thing the way I'm picking.
I'd use bleach.
Zach could give me the cup, and then my big bucks picks are gonna fall.
Yeah, maybe
off.
The cup is bad luck. Maybe that's the problem.
I told you I wasn't touching it. There's a reason why I'm in plus territory.
Hey, I'll polish it up. I'll bring in some good luck.
Jim Derry, the commissioner of the No Fun League, doesn't want the cup. All right, other college results. Michigan proved they're for real, thumping Penn State. The Tennessee-Alabama game was this was just an unbelievable Saturday. I'm going to shed a tear. I didn't watch a whole lot of it because I was watching 18 innings of Mariners baseball. But
that's a shame.
But I did flip over to watch the end of some of these games. Like, Alabama's got a field goal to win the game with 20 seconds left and end up losing it in regulation. Only Alabama manages to do that stuff. That stuff, man.
I have a little beef. Why you have the thing up? Here's my thing. Everyone's calling like Tennessee, Alabama the greatest game. Every high-scoring game, like the Buffalo KC game, like how come we don't ever get how come a 21-20 game can't be the best game ever? Like, first of all, there's about 879 best games ever. Okay, the best game ever high, but it's always like 52-49, 48-46, 49-40. Give me a break. Why can't a defensive? I mean, I think the Astros-Mariners game, one of the best games of all time,
I'm getting rid of this damn cup. The other game I'll point out, guys, and TCU survives Oklahoma State. TCU undefeated, and we'll talk at the end of the show about next week. But they've got another big one with K-State. It's gonna be 3 straight showdowns in a row for TCU. The one at the bottom there, though, what a game that was, and not because it was 43-42, but USC jumps. I think that's why.
But
Jim,
you get my point, though.
You just have more opportunity for lead changes and things like that. And that, when it's 0-0 the whole time, you don't know who's going to win. You never make any assumptions. You could sort of assume at one point USC was going to win this game. They were up big, and then Utah comes all the way back, rolls the dice, goes for 2 at the end, gets it, and then gets the pick to hold off USC. And now
you gotta warn about
wide open.
You got to warn about that too, because Utah LC is a 3-point favorite going into the game. They don't. Right. The line didn't make sense. So you take Utah. You don't cover, and then a lot of people probably took USC on the money line because it was fishy. So you lose all of that. It just kind of fit. That one was fishy.
There were some weird calls in that game too.
Fishy.
There were some weird calls, some pass interference calls on USC that were really soft. And then at the end of the game, Utah's just gone for 2. They're up by 1. It's USC's ball, and they overturn an interception, and then the clock was running it was because of a penalty, roughing the passer penalty, but the interception had counted before the flag comes into account, and the Utah player is returning it all the way down the field, and so 5 extra seconds go off the clock, and you think, okay, well, that's weird. A bad break for USC because they get the ball back, but they lose 5 seconds. The refs put the time back on the clock because they said weird. A timeout was called during the play.
Yeah, right.
What?
I don't. The officiating this season, both in college and pro, and I've seen it in high school too. I don't know what these guys are calling sometimes. I don't even know what they're seeing. So, and then they talk to people to confirm it. So, I mean, they got the headset on, and they still screw it up.
It's a line from My Cousin Vinny.
Yeah, exactly. To a Utes.
That's right. Okay, so that was the college results. I do want to point out also that for the first time in 24 years, the Greenies are in the top 25. Tulane is 5-1, 6-1 actually, and playing host to Memphis, and they're a touchdown favorite. I mean, Tulane, you look at the schedule, like they have a chance to be like 9-1 going. Their last 2 games are SMU and Cincinnati will be tough, but the Greenies are rolling.
Well, they're already bowl eligible. I mean, last year they only won 2 games, right? So, I mean, go Greenies. I got a lot of friends who are Greenbackers, so they're enjoying life right now.
K-State, their only loss so far. All right.
No question.
We will we'll circle back to football at the end of the show, but you're watching Bayou Bets. I do want to get to a couple of other things. The baseball playoffs roll on, as mentioned. The Mariners,
go Phillies.
The universe is unfair. They get outscored by 4 runs, but lose all 3 games. Doesn't need to be talked about anymore. Guardians and Yankees tonight. The only game 5 we get out of this LDS round. Yankees won yesterday to force it. They're -150 favorites. Interesting, though, that to me, Jameson Taillon's on the mound for the Yankees. Not overwhelming. And the Guardians' bullpen is much better than the Yankees at this stage. I think there's some value on Cleveland here, guys.
I agree. Go Guardians. They've just been so clutch so far this postseason. And I think there's a chance to get it done tonight to where give me the value here. Give me the plus odds with them. I think it's a coin flip game. So, yeah, I definitely see the value.
I ain't betting on the Guardians with your money. Not in Yankee Stadium.
The Guardian, Derry Downer, a.k.a. Guardians hater. You've been hating on the Guardians.
Well, I mean, I'm not. First of all, I don't recognize their new ridiculous moniker.
Can we just call them the Deans? We'll just take off the front half of the word.
I'll call them Cleveland.
The Cleveland baseball club.
The Cleveland baseball team. I like it. That's what I'm going to call them.
Here's my problem with Cleveland is that everybody's talking about how they're in this position because they have such a great lineup full of contact hitters, and it's old style baseball and it's so great to watch. And it is more fun to watch when it works. The Guardians offense is not good. It's not good. They don't have enough power for it to be good. What's good about that team is their pitching. I
have a warm spot in my place in my heart for the Cleveland baseball team. If they don't choke, the Cubs still haven't won a World Series since 1908. So I have a very warm spot in my heart for Cleveland.
That's true. And right now they have the longest drought of anyone. 1945, the last time they won a
Even
World
I wasn't
Series.
alive then.
Are you sure?
I'm pretty sure.
Even my dad was only 2 years old.
My dad was 3, so in 1945. So
NLCS is set. Who would have thought? Phillies and Padres. The Padres are very short favorites here, minus 125. They do
has
have
Manny
home
Machado
field.
put his shirt on yet? Did you see that the other night?
No, I wasn't watching Manny with no shirt on. Yeah.
It was.
I saw he was getting all hyped. I didn't realize he had took his shirt off.
Oh, it was crazy. And then they were interviewing him in the locker room, and he was they had him on live. They didn't have the 7-second delay, and he used about 5 words we can't use here on this show on live TV. It was excellent.
The upshot, by the way, of the Dodgers, the Braves, and the Mets, the 300-win teams in the National League are all out. And the Yankees could go out tonight. The upshot is that the Astros are like almost even money favorites to win the World Series now. It's like plus 130 or something.
All those odds
clean up.
All those odds are ridiculous, though. I mean, both the Padres and Phillies are in the plus 3s. I mean, the only decent value I saw. The Guardians aren't winning the World Series. Don't waste money on that. But the Yankees are. The last I saw, and this was 2 days ago, so it might be plus 4 something now. But the Yankees were like plus 550. I don't know if we have a slot on that or not. I looked through.
I don't, but I'll look up real quick what the current odds are.
So, I mean, to me, that's the only semi-value. You can't bet on the Padres or the Phillies. In some books, they were both like plus 280. So you can't bet on that at all.
At Caesars, it's better than that. Astros plus 135, Padres plus 325, Phillies plus 350.
You can't bet on either one of those.
Yankees plus 550 and the Guardians plus 1300.
So to me, the only value, I think that, in fact, before they play tonight, I'm going to go put money on the Yankees because I think that's actually worth a take. I already have Phillies and Padres ticket anyway. I have more in the Phillies, so that's the team I'm rooting for. But you cannot bet on the Phillies or Padres. They got to get out of their own series, and then you're telling me it's plus 325 and 350 to get out of their series and then win the World Series beyond against for certainly a team that's better than them, no matter who it is, unless it's the Guardians, which it's not going to be. So I mean, those odds are heavily sauced. Don't touch those. No value.
Can I pour one more out for the Mariners? That was tough.
I don't feel for you, man. I've been there.
Yeah, that was, man.
I'm gonna get.
Cardinals got swept. Mariners got swept. Yeah, just a tough day for our teams to go out.
You're actually drinking out of there too.
Julio Rodriguez.
Bleach, Spencer. Bleach.
Oh man.
There's actually nothing in here. Just for the record.
Deep clean that thing.
Julio Rodriguez has now played in more playoff games than Mike Trout and Shohei Ohtani combined. So I got that going for me.
Damn, the Angels, what a dump! I guess about the value thing. If you have a lean for the NL, which I kind of do, I'm leaning Padres. So I think there could be a little bit of value there because man, they're just so talented. Like I know they're cocky and young, and maybe the moment might be too big for them. But man, if their talent wins out, there could be value there.
Well, I think the Phillies are cocky and old, and actually in this particular instance, I think that's better. They've got more experience. They don't have as much time they know that this could be the only chance for some of these guys. And a lot of them have been there before, and a lot of them haven't. I mean, Gene Segura hadn't even been in the playoffs before this season, so good for him. But I think the Phillies are going to be tougher to beat. I know that the Padres have a better pitching staff, and if you look at them analytically, the Padres are the better team. So I agree with Spencer on that. But something about this Phillies team, I think the Padres, it was all about beating the Dodgers, which they did. And I think once they got past that Dodgers hump, we'll see if they can refocus again and get ready for the Phillies. They're probably still drunk right now.
Maybe
both teams are, man. I don't. NLCS starts Tuesday. ALCS starts Wednesday. Also starting Tuesday is the NBA season. We have Sixers, Celtics, and Lakers, Warriors, I believe, tomorrow night are the 2 opening games. And then everybody else plays Wednesday or Thursday. Pelicans open Wednesday in Brooklyn. Here's your futures odds. Co-favorites, Warriors and Celtics. I'm not touching either. Those locker rooms are very questionable right now between the Draymond punch and the Ime Udoka suspension. And I don't know. I got to see how they play before I'm willing to bet them.
How about them Nuggets?
Could be
What do we
value.
think about the Clippers being plus 650? Is that Lakers from last year territory?
Oh,
That's insane.
definitely.
That's
I mean,
ridiculous.
Kawhi Leonard is not all in. At least I don't think. He seems like the Michael Thomas of the NBA. So I am not touching the Clippers with a stick.
Anybody who wants to bet on Clippers, I'm not trying to undercut our friends at Caesars, but if they want to bet on Clippers, I'll give them my email address and then I'll give you my cell number and you can just Venmo me the money.
Or
at 650.
Or Jim, you could put $5 on the Clippers or anybody at plus 650 and be entered to go to the game.
Oh,
just saying.
I'm
just saying.
The Pels, Pels future I'd rather a Pels future than the freaking Clippers.
We'll go back to that in a second because a $5 bet on the Pelicans will net you $150 if they win the NBA title. But you could put $5 on anybody. It could be a game. It could be a future. It could be anything. Zion to score 20 points, whatever you want. NOLA.com/Pels ticks. Entered to win 2 tickets to their home opener Sunday against Utah. And you have to do that by Friday. So sign up, have to be a new user, Caesar Sportsbook app, promo code PelsTicks, and get it done. Entered to win tickets to the game, a $5 bet by Friday. Going back to those odds just for a second. As you said, Spencer, Pelicans down there at plus 3,000. Anybody else down that list? Let's say like 10-1 or longer.
Nuggets.
You got the Nuggets at 16. How about you, Spence?
I'm thinking maybe Memphis with John Morant. That's a team that's on the rise. Even the 76ers. I know Harden's. I mean,
Dallas at 27-1.
You got Joel Embiid in the Heat at plus 2,400. Dallas. Even the Cavs are intriguing. There's Memphis a lot of value on this board potentially. There's definitely not. I'll tell you the ones I'm not playing. The Lakers, the Nets, and the Clippers. Those are the Suns. Yeah, I think the Suns ship is sailed. So those would be my 4 complete stayaways.
I like the Clippers, but not at that price. Like if I could get 10-1, I might, because I think if things go right, they might have the best team. But I'm not like I need a better price than that. That's
the point. They don't want you to bet on them.
Right. And that's what makes me think maybe somebody thinks Kawhi looks great in practice or something. I don't know. I mean,
they don't want you to bet on the Clippers, and they know that people are so dumb that they will bet on the Lakers and Nets anyway. So that's why they have those and the Celtics too. So they can put the odds at whatever you want, and people are still going to bet on those teams because Aunt Mabel had a little bit too much punch where she was making fruitcakes. So let her have her fun. She wants to go to the Pelicans game too.
Yeah. NOLA.com/PelsTicks, TIX. $5 bet by Friday. You're entered to win tickets for Sunday's game. Great.
Are we eligible?
You're not. No, sorry. But if you got a buddy or something who is, maybe he'll take you.
I don't have any friends.
Gonna be there.
Yeah, I'll be there. I'm excited.
Spencer's my only friend, and he's already gone, and he's got a.
What about Uncle Big Nick? He might go. He might.
Oh man!
Of course, he's already a Caesars user too, so I don't know.
As soon as the show's over, he's gonna pretend like his phone's off.
He might be out of luck, man. All right, I don't have a brown paper bag, so I'm just going to hide my face in this cup while y'all talk about the big bucks.
Woohoo! Woohoo!
Big bucks, man. It's just wild. It's like, I've just seem to have the magic touch with that top pick because even though the Vikings didn't make it pretty, I had to go with them though because with that third string quarterback situation in Miami, I just felt like there was so much value there, and it paid off as well. The Patriots have been killing it lately. Belichick, everyone wanted to bury old Bill, but he's not dead yet.
Yep. Can we? I'm going to petition to the commissioner of the big bucks that we take out the best bet.
Oh no!
Because come on, man, we can take out the best. Nobody needs a best bet. I'm 19-11 overall with this thing, and I'm 0-6 with my best bet. I don't even know how that's possible. I really don't know how it's possible. So go ahead with the cup.
That's Jim for his best bet.
Is done yet?
You done yet? What is your record, Zach? You are doing your best Jim Derry 2021 invitation. The only thing is, last year we didn't have any rules on what we could bet, so you can't bet the goofy things like I did last year. So. But you're still You're still going close to zero. It's insane.
Oh, I wouldn't go
I had to bet like $400 a week to get down to where you are.
I was 2-3 the last couple of weeks. It's been rough. Honestly, like I made those picks Thursday morning. I had to fly out from Vegas Thursday, and I was like, "Oh man, I haven't made my big bucks picks." But here, so
You're
I kind of have an excuse this week. That doesn't explain how bad I've been
excuse.
overall.
What happens when I give
ask you
excuses,
about
Spencer?
your
What happens
best-
when I give excuses, Spencer? What does he say?
It doesn't cut you much slack.
Exactly.
I
Not
wanted to
at all.
ask about that. I mean, that Coastal pick. I was like, I mean, I don't follow the Sun Belt as closely as I did. But what made you think Coastal?
Well, Coastal. I mean, for one thing, Old Dominion's offense has been awful all year, and so even though Coastal's not great on D, I thought, listen, they're going to put up points, and Old Dominion can't score. Well, I guess Old Dominion found out a way to score. So
yeah, we made fun of you on the air for that pick.
Yeah, I was trying something different because
It was-
clearly what I was
really
doing
Spencer
was not
though.
working.
I would never make fun of you when you're not here. So it was Spencer that was making fun of you, and I was telling him to settle down, but he just kept going at you like Coastal Carolina. What is Zach thinking? Come on, Coastal.
Jim, the problem with this lie is that I watched the replay. So
you had it wrong. I think our names were transposed.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, because
No,
I
it was the
know
old
so
guy
much
who was
about
making fun of me.
Sunbelt to drill a pick that I knew nothing. That's why I stay away from. I mean, I'm not Devin Jackson. I'll be real. That's why I stick to the NFL because that's more my forte.
Well,
So
Stay in your lane, bro.
Devin
Stay in
Jackson.
Working
your
out
lane.
for you. My problem is right now I don't have a lane. Although I'm doing well in Carville picks. I should say, by the way, check out the Bayou Bets YouTube channel this Thursday. Carville's going to be back, and that man is like James Carville, who has the busiest schedule of any septuagenarian in the country, called me on my cell phone this morning to brag about how he went 6-0 in his picks.
You don't have to
So-
use big words, Zach.
Carville.
That's just a pretty
Yeah,
word
hold it.
for being old.
Well, okay, but you are not quite a septuagenarian.
No, I'm like
I
a
don't think.
pentagenarian, I think.
Yeah, okay. All right. By the way, Bird says first game going to be hard, talking about the Pelicans. They are 3-point underdogs Wednesday in Brooklyn. Mark says Andy Dalton's hurt, might have to put in Taysom Hill. I think Jameis might actually be back Thursday.
Yeah,
I
I
have a
think there's a
feeling.
good chance. He
I
needs
think
to
he-
come back.
Yeah,
He also
Jeff,
says Jabu should have been cut. No, come on.
no. I mean, Jeff.
Well,
when
he was trolling last week. Well,
We still haven't seen Jameis healthy for more than a couple weeks in a row. I mean, I don't know. I'm not saying he's a Hall of Famer or an All Pro or anything, but you need something to shake things up, and Jameis may be it.
Yeah, basically, when Jeff Duncan asked Coach Allen yesterday about that, he was saying like, he didn't name a starter. He said that Jameis still isn't healthy, but that, I mean, this wasn't his exact quote, but from what I got from it was, if Jameis is cleared for Thursday, Jameis will start.
And interestingly enough, and you left to go see Joe Burrow after that, but then he asked Andy Dalton, which I thought, wow, that took some balls to ask that question. So
they just the next
He's Jeff
question,
Duncan, man. That's what he
Dalton,
gets paid for.
Look, Andy Dalton is a super nice guy, no joke. I mean, like a super nice guy. So he took it in stride. He's like, I'm just here to basically do my job and whatever the coach says, kind of thing. And
look, Andy Dalton is
didn't take it the wrong way at all.
Andy Dalton is a great backup quarterback.
100%.
Because
100%.
he's borderline starter quality. So if you need to throw him in there
Great.
for a week or two, you're going to be okay. You're going to win some games. The Saints beat the Seahawks, could have beat the Bengals, could have beat the Vikings. I mean, he's a great backup quarterback, but he's not the guy you want week in and week out.
It's no Bailey Zappi.
Well, Dennis Allen's no Bill Belichick right now either. So
That is
understatement of the century.
You think?
Yeah. All right. So the Saints play Thursday. That starts NFL Week 7. We'll look ahead to the weekend. Saturday, college football Week 8. Who had Syracuse Clemson as a battle of unbeaten teams? Not me.
Uncle Big Nick.
The orange, man. That's
Uncle
crazy.
Big Nick's been all over the orange.
It's interesting, too. Ohio State's minus 29 at home, which is not a big surprise in and of itself. But, like, Iowa doesn't give up points. So that's – you kind of got to win that game like 37-6 if you're going to cover.
Yeah, I ain't betting on that.
It's hard.
I took the bait. Like, didn't Iowa play like Michigan in
got crushed?
Big Ten championship or something last year? What was it?
Yeah,
and I took
45-3 or something.
I took the bait. I took the bait. And I'm like, there's no way I was going to give that whatever the line was. I'm like, this is ridiculous because I fell for it once. I'm not falling for that again.
Couple of other interesting things here. UCLA, Oregon. That's where game day is. But UCLA is still
Why?
undefeated, but they're underdogs. And then in the Big 12, you've got two like semifinals almost. Texas, Oklahoma State, K-State, TCU. Those are the top 4 teams in the standings. They're all playing each other. The 2 survivors of that, none of those teams have like played the other one there. Like Texas hasn't played TCU or K-State. TCU hasn't played Texas. So K-State hasn't played Oklahoma State. It'll be interesting to see how that shakes out. I like the Big 12 this year.
It's terrible.
Big 12 is great this year.
Well, it's entertaining, but they're terrible. They're entertaining.
Well, we'll find out.
I mean,
Tulane beat K-State. Maybe make Tulane the Big 12
who did
champ.
Oklahoma beat last week? 35 to something?
Kansas.
Kansas. Oh, yeah, Kansas was good. Yeah, you can snicker on that. I mean, you don't make me bring up the Mariners again.
Hey, at least Mizzou. I think Mizzou was off this week, so he didn't have to deal with
Mizzou didn't lose this week.
Heartache. Yeah,
And they got your Doors. They got your Commodores. This week,
they're gonna smack the Doors.
I
already got my 3 wins. I don't care.
Yeah, NFL Week 7. Kansas, by the way, might start 5-0 and 5-7. We'll see. NFL Week 7. Lots of home favorites here.
Someone's going to have to explain to me that Giants-Jags line.
I think the Jags might be a value this week, but at -3, I don't think I can play that.
I'm going to have to bet it and play it because somebody knows something I don't know. There is somebody somewhere that knows something I don't know to make the Jaguars. They should not be favored over the Giants, period.
So you'll bet Jacksonville. How stupid will you feel when the Giants win by 10 points?
No, I'm probably dumb. Probably pretty dumb, but you know what? I'm going to make that my best bet, I think. I mean, I can't do any worse than I'm doing in best bets.
You're just trying to mush the Jaguars at this point.
I'm going to put $1 on it.
All right.
Maybe $5 to get some tickets.
Colts Titans. The NFC South's awful, and so is the AFC South. Like the AFC South, the Colts, for as terrible as they have been, are 1 road win away from having control of that division.
The Titans are good, boys and girls. Just like you don't want to give Giants credit, the Titans are good.
I don't know if I'd go that far. They might be the best team in a bad division.
They're not great. They're not great.
That division's good. That division is.
They're gonna have 10 wins, just like I said they would.
A freaking dump. The both South divisions. I don't think I've ever seen a year where both divisions are this bad.
Do y'all still think the Jags are going to win this division? All the crowing y'all did.
I've been saying the Colts are going to win the division.
Oh, come on!
If the Jags beat the Giants,
wait a minute. Somebody
division.
Go back and find the tape. Y'all, didn't you bet me that the Jags would beat the Titans?
No, the bet was that the Jags would beat the Titans 1 out of 2 times.
No, we got to go roll the tape.
Then we decided that we'd come up with something else because they don't play till the very end.
To roll the tape.
But I have preseason futures tickets on the Colts to back me up now. We didn't talk much Chiefs-Bills, so let's end there because the Chiefs, kind of an emotional game. They lose that game at the end against Buffalo. Now they got to go all the way across the country to play in Santa Clara County. 49ers are beat up. This could be a rebound spot for them.
Yeah, I think so. I like the Niners as dogs this week.
Great.
I mean, I think they match up fairly well with the Chiefs. I mean, I think it's a game where Mahomes could have some issues, and I don't.
Jimmy G matches up well against someone.
Yeah, I mean the Chiefs' defense is not very good. So I think
Jimmy G's not very good.
The Chiefs' defense is banged up. I mean, you talk about teams with injuries. They're missing both starting corners.
Hell, Josh Allen, 27 points or 24 points or
24.
whatever it was? 24 points?
Yeah.
So do we think Jimmy G is going to score more than 24 points? Because I would think the Chiefs are going to score 24 on the
Well, it's deeper than Jimmy G. I mean, you got a solid running game as well as Debo, Ayuk, and Kittle.
Jeff Wilson is a solid running game.
I know he stunk last week, but for the season, he's been pretty good. So I'm not burying the Niners yet. I think that's a team that – yeah, they stunk it up this week, but I'm much more concerned about Green Bay than I am the 49ers.
Oh, Green Bay looks bad. Boy, they look bad.
Yeah, I mean, losing to the Giants and the Jets.
I still think they're going to win the conference.
Green Bay?
Yeah, still think
I thought you were down on Green Bay.
I am. They stunk this week. I'm pissed off.
They're going to win the NFC. They're going to the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I think they're going to the Super Bowl. The NFC's terrible. Philadelphia is going to fold like a tent. When it comes down to it,
the NFC is
they're going to fold like a tent when it gets down.
Honestly, I don't know. Like I feel weird saying this, but I guess Buffalo would be the team. I don't feel like there's any good teams out there.
Look, out of the NFC,
all the preseason analysts said Buffalo is going to the Super Bowl. And I know it scared a lot of people, but I don't see them choking.
You can get Green Bay at 8-1 to win the NFC. By the way, you can get the Saints at 40-1 to win the NFC.
Buffalo won the same game last year by I think 18 points or 19 points, something along those lines. And then what happened in the playoffs? They became Buffalo again.
They'll be okay.
I don't care if it's in Buffalo. I don't care where you can. It's okay, Spencer. You can like Buffalo. Zach can like Buffalo. Y'all think they're going to come. This is the year. This is the same thing I tell my son every year. This is the year I'm going to win fantasy football, and he's about to be 2-5. So I mean,
come on, the Bills
put him on blast.
It's the same blast. His team, he's got Bills all over his team. It's the same thing. The Bills every year. This is the year they're going to win the Super Bowl. Been here for 3 years now. They're going to do the same thing in the playoffs they do every year.
Okay, I just want to point out something real because I just discovered this.
We're saving that tape. We're saving this
Caesar's futures odds.
Receipt taken. Just took
all right. I love it.
You put it with the Jags tape that you lost.
Hey, Jags ain't over yet. I'm not giving up on the Jags yet.
They're not going to have 7 wins.
I'm standing on it. It's probably foolish, but I'm standing on it. It's Trevor Lawrence. Y'all keep sleeping on him.
I'll sleep on him.
He's not as good as I was thinking as far as this season, but he's got a bright future. And in that division, they could still win it.
Zach, we still have like 2 viewers. You might want to wrap it up. Nobody wants to hear us fight about the Jags. And,
I think so.
And Josh Allen.
I'll tell you what I'm sleeping on is Jaguars arguments. Just looking at the Caesars futures odds, though, I did notice something. We talked last week. Despite all the Saints' problems, they're still 5-1 to win the division, which is basically where they were around the time of the draft. They're 13-1 now. So
to win the division?
Yeah, a close loss to the Bengals.
Are you serious?
Minds. You can get them at 13-1 to win the division.
No way.
The division's no good.
Oh, I might actually put money on them.
They have a 1 in 13 chance of winning the division. Absolutely.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
That's
so
absurd.
I don't know what changed in the last week, but the Falcons are at 6-1.
And they're 3 points favorites over the Giants, and they're 13-1.
According to the books, Falcons are better than the Saints.
The Saints are 13-1 to win the division.
The Saints are 13-1.
The Falcons are 6-1. Right?
Yeah, the Jaguars are plus 370.
According to the books, the Falcons are a better team than the Saints.
Did I say the Jaguars? I'm sorry. The Saints are 13-1 to win, but they were 5-1 last week. One loss,
that doesn't make any
sense. That doesn't add up. I don't think they're going to win it. But
and by the way, Spencer, you can't do power ratings based on what odds are.
I mean, you can in a way because it's the odds are that drastic.
You can't.
I mean, I guarantee all the power rankings. I'm not saying I agree with them, but I guarantee all the national power rankings have the Falcons over the Saints.
Okay, before we go off the show, then so you tell me the Falcons are 6-1 to win the division.
That's right.
And the Saints are 13-1 to win a division.
That's right.
I will give you bargain, Spencer. I will bet you 2-1. I mean, I'll bet you even money. I'll bet you even money right now. And that's a great bargain, judging by the casinos, the sports books power rankings, that the Saints finish with a better record than the Falcons.
I can't take it.
I
can't take it because
judging by the
sportsbooks
power ratings, you're telling me that the Falcons are better than the Saints, and they're already got a 1-game advantage.
Well, they've definitely played better than the Saints so far. I agree, but I think long term Marcus Mariota is going to get exposed, so I can't take it.
He's already been exposed in a couple games. He just didn't. He just got. It ended up working out for him this week. Zach, you want to bite? I mean, you weren't in this fight, but you can bite on it too if you want. I'm
ring
okay. The bell. Come on. Okay.
I'm okay.
You need to back up your words with something.
I didn't say any words that need backing up.
No, you didn't. You didn't. It's a lot easier with Uncle Big Nick because I can goad him into any stupid bet. It is so. I mean, I need to show you the bets with idiots file. I mean, it's extensive.
Oh my God.
All right. Want to wrap things up here. Bayou Bets. It's gotten a little bit off the rails, but it's been a great episode.
We had fun.
The Saints on the brink, LSU flying high. We talked some NBA basketball starting tomorrow, baseball playoffs, LCS starts tomorrow as well. And one final reminder for those of you who haven't signed up for Caesar Sportsbook, or if your buddy or your brother, your sister, your husband or wife hasn't signed up yet, your child, if they're of age, if they're 21 or older, look, you can get tickets to LSU, Alabama. use promo code LSU tickets, or you can get tickets to Pelicans Jazz home opener. Use promo code Pelicans tickets, or go to NOLA.com/Pels tickets. $5 bet by Friday, and you are entered to win 2 good seats. Go to the game on Caesars. That's our promo code for you. Also, listen to Datitude. If you want more Saints downer talk and to listen to Jim's full diatribe.
Well, we make fun with it. We have fun with it.
Oh, I'm sure you did.
The common fan, David Corbier, he was on it today.
Yeah, he was fired up.
He was. It was awesome. I mean, we had Garland. I do my Derry's Dime for that last 15 minutes. Garland Gillen came on for about 20, 25 minutes. And then the common fan for 10 or 11 minutes. It's outstanding.
All right. Listen to Datitude. Spencer and I will be back at 2 o'clock tomorrow with the fantasy roundup for week 8. And then on Thursday, we'll be back Bayou Bets the night of the game. Saints and Cardinals that night at 7:15.
And live Datitude is Thursday morning this week, by the way.
Okay, live Datitude on Thursday this week. So get that at 9 a.m.?
Right now we're planning on doing it at 9:15 a.m. It'll be 7:15 a.m. where Dunk is, so we may have to push it back a little bit. We're waiting to see.
All right.
On these same
he doesn't
YouTube,
like to get up. I get it.
These same YouTube and Facebook channels.
So we shall do. We'll have a full slate of stuff for you on Thursday, leading up to Saints Cardinals, including Bayou Bets at 4. Until then, for Spencer the Guru and Jim, I'm Zach. Thanks for being here.